أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Dear viewers everywhere on the globe, I greet you with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and peace be unto all of you. Come with me today to continue our reflections upon the verses of the Quran. And I remind you that all the verses that you have heard in Arabic from different reciters, all of them talk about the same topic. It encourages us to read and recite the Quran with understanding, with reflections, and all the time ask yourself and reflect. Otherwise, our hearts will be locked and they need to be unlocked. Keep doing this every time you recite and you read the Quran, so that your hearts will be kept open, inshallah, for understanding. Today we are going to reflect upon the first to the third ayah or verses from chapter number 83. And this reads in Arabic, as you can see on the screen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون. I will try to give you a simple meaning. The meaning here is the translation of the meaning. Not, of course, I remind you, not the translation of the ayat, the translation of the meaning that had been understood by the translator. Woe to al-mutaffifin. And here he explains the word al-mutaffifin, those who give less in measure and weight and gain more. It's a concept, I'll talk about it later. And those who, when they have to receive by measures from men, demand full measure. And when they have to give by measure or weight to men, they give less than due. Okay, now as simple as this. The concept of al-mutaffifin, it's those people who usually try to gain more when it is for their benefit, and to give less when it is not for their benefit. So all the time they look at their own benefit. If they buy things, they want to get more than they deserve. And when they give others, they give less than others deserve. So they are self-centered. Those who are self-centered, they see the whole world from the lens of their own. They don't see others as equal to them. Those people are called in Islam mutaffifun. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that, woe to them. And woe to them here in Arabic, it's not as it is translated into English, unfortunately. Wailun here, the word in Arabic that's used, is a name of a valley in hellfire. So in other words, those people who have these qualities, who are unfair to others, who only love their own themselves at the expense of the rights of the others, such type of people will be in this valley in hellfire. I am trying to explain this concept because a lot of people think that it's related only to buying and selling things. This concept applies in everything. So you can find some people apply it in their relationship with others, whether they're husband and wife, two spouses. One of them can be labeled as mutaffifin. He wants to get all his rights and more, and he doesn't want to give his spouse her rights. Or when he gives her her rights, he gives her less than she deserves. And also by the same token, when you reverse it, you will find that the spouse, the other spouse, the wife sometimes asks for more and more and more and more, but she gives less and less and less and less. This type of relationship can be called the relationship of tatfif. This is the concept of just taking more and giving less. Of course, if it happens, this will be a source of problems and troubles between every two people. The same thing when you see the employer and the employee in any company. The concept of the employer is that he wants to get more and more and more from his employee, and he wants to give his employee less than what is due or what is his right. And when you reverse it, the same thing happens. You find some employees always ask for more and more and more, and they don't give even the time that should be given to the employer. It's a very important concept, and you can apply it almost everywhere in the world. However, unfortunately, some people, when they don't reflect upon the verse of the Quran, when they just read it as a verse and they memorize it, and some even people can explain it to others, but they don't apply it in their life. If that happens even between a father and a son, between two children, between two neighbors, in any sort of relationship, this should be the norm. You have to be fair. As the Prophet ﷺ said, yes, love for your brother or love for the others what you love for yourself. If you love to be treated like this, if you love to take more, so he loves to take more. And of course, it's impossible to take more and to give him more because it wouldn't be even. So the only solution is to be fair. So you take what you deserve, and he takes what he deserves, or she takes what she deserves. So this is the norm, fairness. And you can see that if this concept dominates a society, to be fair to others, to love for others what you love for yourself. And it is the job of the government, and it is the job of the people in charge. I think it is the job of every human being. You love for yourself what he loves for himself. So you have to be fair and never exceed the limit. Never go beyond what you should take. And you have to be fair. And this is not easy. This is very difficult. And you can see from this verse how this wonderful religion is suitable for all human beings, because every human being, an average human being, not a corrupt human being. A corrupt human being would love to be from those who are mutaffifin. An average human being loves to be fair to others, loves to take what others should take, to be fair to others. So this concept of fairness is one of the central concepts in this religion. This religion is based on fairness, to be fair and to be just to others, and in this way to guarantee a peaceful society. What a beautiful verse that we can learn. Not only we as Muslims to learn from it, I think every human being can benefit from this. And I'm quite sure that every human being would aspire to make fairness a common principle among all human beings. I mentioned some examples of this. But look, even the example of a Muslim in his relationship with Almighty Allah. We always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we call upon Him to give us this and this and this and this. Oh Allah, give us paradise. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, keep us healthy. Oh Allah, and we continue asking Allah every day. But all what we do even are not close to all the blessings that we have, that were given to us by Almighty Allah. Look, even at the time of the prayer, We listen to the call of adhan. We listen to the adhan, which means that Allah is calling us. He's telling us, come to prayer, come to success. This is what you should do at this time. You should leave everything aside and put it aside and come to prayer, because this is a central issue in Islam that shows that you worship Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is His right upon us to do that. And it is our duty to give Him His rights. However, we delay it, we become lazy, we postpone it, and even when we do it, we do not perfect it. And you can see here the discrepancies between what we gain from Allah and what we ask Him to give us. But when we want to give, although He does not benefit from anything that we give, He does not benefit from our prayer, He does not benefit from our zakat, He does not benefit from any of the obligations that we do or anything that we do in this world. Rather than this, He teaches us how to do them. But you see the ingratitude that we have. We become ungrateful to Him when we deal with Him. We want to get more and more, but to give less and less. Less time for reciting the Quran, less time for doing the prayer. We do it quickly instead of doing it in, for example, 5 minutes. We do it very quickly in 2 minutes. There's a huge difference between a person who perfects this and tries to make it exactly as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed us in guidelines of the seerah of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or as we do it so quickly at the expense of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a type of people that do this to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is a kind of tatfif, the concept that we mentioned in this verse. Again, you will find it in all the transactions. Person is going to buy an apartment, he wants to get more and more and to give less money, to negotiate. And most of the people, when they get into negotiation, and you can see this in the political arena, or when a country is negotiating with another country, especially when a country is stronger than the other country, the stronger always tries to get more than he deserves because of his power. And this is something that is disliked and hated by Almighty Allah. Dear viewers everywhere, this concept of tatfif is applicable to everything in our life, and we need to be very cautious and meticulous to detect it in order to avoid falling into this. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make me and all the viewers of those who try to avoid and to do their best to avoid being from those mutaffifin. And I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me this opportunity to share this beautiful meaning with you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Your presenter, Mamdouh Mohamed.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها